Tonight, how productive are federal public servants?
The things that, public service needs to be more productive is looking at some of these ancient IT systems that we deal with.
A working group report says measuring productivity with reliable data could help the government save big dollars, but no plan to go forward with those assessments, at least for now. A crash on a rural road across from Cedar Hill Christmas Farm.
Fire rescue was able to extricate the male party and performed heroic CPR measures.
An 18-year-old is dead. A 17-year-old driver is charged. And the urgent plea for a new kidney.
I remember sitting at the doctor's office at the general and them saying, yeah, we're going to have to start the process.
For a teenage boy in the Valley facing a life-changing medical crisis. Good evening. We begin tonight with a call to better track just how well public servants are doing their jobs. A new report says the government could be doing much better when it comes to monitoring productivity inside the public sector. And although there are no plans to do that right now, unions are still raising concerns. CTV's Caitlin Wilson joins us live now with more on this. Caitlin.
Yeah, Patricia, the report was commissioned by the president of the Treasury Board in 2024 to examine productivity inside the federal public service and help the government save billions of dollars in the coming years. For 15 years, Tip Graham worked in the federal public service. He says one of the biggest challenges wasn't motivation, it was resources.
There's always feast or famine in regards to, we never had enough people where I was working, so we're constantly trying to get, and it takes forever to get somebody hired when I was there.
Every day, public servants answer calls, process files, and make decisions that affect millions of Canadians. Now, a new federal report says the government has no clear way to measure how well that work gets done, recommending the government track productivity and performance across the public service, something the Treasury Board says it isn't considering right now.
I'm disappointed and disagree with dropping the idea of trying to get better measurement.
The report, commissioned by the Treasury Board in 2024, argues without clear data, it's difficult to know whether services are effective or whether problems are being missed. Michael Warnick, who once led Canada's public service, says the sector makes up about a fifth of the economy and believes the biggest gains could happen behind the scenes.
I think the big productivity gains in government are going to be the internal services that move people and information and resources around. They have to operate at a higher, faster pace.
2 of the 19 recommendations call on Statistics Canada to create a productivity measurement program and for departments that provide direct services to Canadians to develop clearer performance metrics. But one public sector union warns productivity can't be improved by measurement alone.
2 things that productivity depends on is having trust and faith in the work that everyone does.
Sean O'Reilly, president of the Professional Institute of the Public Service of Canada, says public servants are already dealing with understaffing, outdated technology, and heavy paperwork. Problems he says won't be solved by performance tracking alone.
I look at our scientists and our researchers, they're working in dilapidated labs and they do not have the tools or the expertise in those labs to do the work that they need to do. And that is very problematic.
And the Treasury Board says several recommendations in the report already align with work underway, including artificial intelligence, program reviews, and streamlining internal processes, but says it isn't considering others right now. Patricia?
All right, CTV's Caitlin Wilson live for us tonight. Thank you. And you can scan the QR code on the bottom of your screen to link to us online or visit ctvnewsottawa.ca. We have more details on the report and its recommendations to track productivity, as well as numerous stories on the public service. And meantime, some developing news tonight on the government's plan to reduce the size of the federal public service. It appears hundreds of people working at Natural Resources Canada could lose their jobs in the coming years. In a statement to CTV News Ottawa, the department confirms it has sent letters to about 700 indeterminate employees to inform them their position will or may be impacted by future changes. It goes on to say there are plans to eliminate approximately 400 positions by 2028-29. This is part of the government's plan to find $60 billion in savings. Well, the lives of 2 families have been changed forever after an alleged drunk driving crash near Packenham. One teenager is dead and another is facing impaired driving charges after a vehicle rolled off the road last night. This happened across the road from the Cedar Hill Christmas Tree Farm on the 8th concession of South Packenham near Cedar Hill Side Road in Mississippi Mills shortly before midnight. CTV's Austin Lee joins us live now with more. Austin.
Well, Patricia, the vehicle rolled over on that rural road where the 18-year-old was pronounced dead last night. Today, some debris from the vehicle remains, along with flowers left behind to honor the victim. 3 people, including the driver, were in the car at the time. Ontario Provincial Police say when first responders arrived, 2 people were standing outside of the vehicle, but a third was trapped inside. Fire crews extricated that individual and they did perform CPR, but he was pronounced dead a short time later. The driver and other passenger were brought to hospital with minor injuries and released overnight. The 17-year-old driver is facing 3 charges, including operation while impaired, causing death. And police say when it comes to impaired driving, things are trending in the wrong direction.
I would say that the number of impaired drivers has increased steadily over the last 3 to 5 years. We had seen a downturn, but unfortunately it has gone up.
Police are now putting out a call for information, anyone with information, to help in their investigation. So if you do know anything about this incident that could assist police, you are asked to contact the Lanark County branch of the Ontario Provincial Police. Patricia.
CTV's Austin Lee reporting live for us tonight. Thank you. Well, a 17-year-old boy in the Ottawa Valley is in need of a new kidney. Lucas Gillen was born with only one. He has chronic kidney failure, and if he doesn't get a second kidney in the new year, he could face a very difficult path. CTV's Dylan Dyson joins us with more on this story. Dylan.
Patricia, until now, Lucas Gillen has lived life like any other kid, but with just one kidney. Now, as he's hit a growth spurt, his lone kidney can't keep up with the rest of his body, and the clock is ticking to find a kidney donor match by February.
This here's Big Joey, and this is Stubbs.
To this point, 17-year-old Lucas Gillen has been your typical teenager, feeding his family cows, learning about cars, and getting out on the river to fish. But all of that may start to change in 2026.
In the new year, if a kidney transplant is not available yet, I will be starting dialysis.
Not a normal evening activity for your average 17-year-old.
So every night I'll have to be hooked up to a machine, and it will transfer the toxins out of my stomach. I don't want to do it, that's for sure. It's definitely something I do not want to do.
Gillen's chronic kidney failure hasn't burdened the family too much to this point, but in September, after continuing to grow, doctors told Lucas it was time to start searching for a donor.
Okay, so now we need a kidney.
Who are we going to ask?
How do you put that out there?
February is like the date of plan for dialysis if a kidney's not available by then, just because that's when one of my semesters end at school, and then from there I can do online if I need to.
Gillen's family put out a call on social media for a living donor. Doctors say a deceased donor would not be an ideal fit, and it has led to dozens of family and friends being tested for a match.
It's been amazing.
It's been overwhelming, actually. It really has. Yeah. I remember sitting at the doctor's office at the general and them saying, yeah, we're going to have to start the process. And I thought, okay, that time has come.
No donor has been found yet, but the family is hopeful the push for a new kidney will help more people than just Lucas.
I often say the miracle out of all of this is that Lucas gets a kidney, and maybe a few other people get a kidney out of it.
The family says their doctors are confident of finding a perfect match within 10 donor applicants, but blood and tissue testing can take weeks, and they're still waiting on results to come back in the new year. Patricia.
Weeks that feel so much longer, I'm sure. CTV's Dylan Dyson live for us tonight. Thank you. We have extended coverage of the family's search for a kidney donor. There are more stories online at ctvnewsottawa.ca. Still ahead, Christmas dinner comes early at a West End school. A local entrepreneur carrying on a festive tradition with the help of Ottawa police. That story coming up. Well, here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. It is -4 in Ottawa tonight. Not bad, and not bad tomorrow either, as we get a check of the weather. Jackie Paris joining us in studio with all the details. Jackie?
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. It's not officially winter yet, but in the last few weeks, we've seen heavy snowfall and temperatures well below seasonal, but things are looking up with a stretch of days that are set to see temperatures above zero. And that's for this week. Let's take a closer look now at our conditions. There is a slight chance we could see rain during our midday for Wednesday, but it's really going to be just a little bit north of Ottawa and focus more towards Cornwall and Hawkesbury. We can see that there's a little bit of flurries and freezing rain moving through as well, but it shouldn't linger for too long. What we will note, though, is the wind gusts. We could see wind gusts up to 60 kilometers per hour, and the heavy winds starting as soon as you head out that door early in the morning. We are getting to a daytime high of 4 degrees. Yes, 4 degrees. But when you get to the overnight hours, there is a chance that we could see a risk of freezing rain. So we're monitoring this as well, but temperatures right now sitting at a comfortable about -3 degrees really throughout eastern Ontario. We will have a full look at your long-term forecast in just a bit. Patricia.
Well, turning now to the latest on the deadly shooting at Australia's Bondi Beach. Investigators have linked the terrorist attack targeting the Jewish community to ISIS. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese says the father and son suspects were influenced by the Islamic State. Here's CTV's Judy Trim.
Before the mass shooting began, dashcam video reveals how a couple confronted one of the Bondi Beach attackers. They tried to wrestle away his gun. Boris Gurman and his wife Sophia were among the 15 people killed.
It would appear that there is evidence that this was inspired by a terrorist organisation, by ISIS.
Homemade Islamic State flags were visible in the suspect's car. Authorities also found improvised explosive devices in the vehicle. 50-year-old Sajid Akram was killed by police. His 24-year-old son was also shot and in hospital. Police say father and son traveled to the Philippines in November and are trying to find out why.
Specifically, who were they interacting with in Mindanao, which is known to be an ISIS stronghold. In fact, ISIS had tried to carve out an independent state there some years ago. Still known to be active, still doing training there. Who exactly were these two individuals from Australia interacting with there?
The Akrams' home in a Sydney suburb was searched. Police said the father, Sajid, had licenses for 6 firearms. Australian media is reporting that his son, Naveed, was investigated in 2019 for ties to an ISIS cell, but deemed a non-threat. Meanwhile, a menorah lights up Sydney's Opera House as grief grows at a memorial on Bondi Beach. 2 rabbis and a Holocaust survivor are among the dead. The youngest victim was a 10-year-old girl named Matilda.
Matilda's mother called me and say, Matilda died. And I couldn't even repeat this word at the time. I say, what? What? I asked him many times. I was thinking it's bad reception. I don't hear something well. And afterward, I start screaming.
There are growing anti-Semitic incidents across the globe. A Canadian intelligence assessment done after the Bondi Beach attack found that there is no credible threat to Jewish holiday events in this country. But a violent act by lone actors is a possibility. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Stay with CTV News for continuing coverage of the Bondi Beach shooting. For updates on radio, tune into News Talk 580 CFRA and CTV News channel at any hour. Well, transit users in the East End could be one step closer to riding the new LRT extension. Work continues on the line, which runs from Blair to Trim Station. Deficiencies were discovered in the fall, and crews have since worked on track infrastructure and reinforcing concrete. But in an update today on News Talk 580 CFRA's The Morning Rush with Bill Carroll, Mayor Mark Sutcliffe said testing should begin in early January.
You know, I don't want to throw out dates, but I think relatively early in the new year, we're going to see the testing happening. And once the testing is done, you know, you got to meet certain criteria. Once that's done, we can open it to service.
OC Transpo has suggested residents could be riding the train by the end of March. An Eastern Ontario man is facing dozens of charges after an investigation into intimate partner violence and child abuse. OPP began the investigation in September in the Rideau Lakes area. Police say there are 5 victims. A 26-year-old was initially facing 14 charges, but that has increased to 63, including attempted murder, sexual assault on a person under 16, forcible confinement, and assault. He has not been identified to protect the identity of the victims. An Ottawa driver is facing impaired charges after police received a call about someone passed out in a vehicle at a gas station. Officers were called to Carling Avenue last night. Police say the driver left the station before officers arrived, but was stopped a short time later at Carling and Hertzberg Roads. Well, firefighters are crediting residents of a home in Stittsville, saying their quick actions stopped an oven fire from spreading. Crews were called to a house on Taylorson Crescent around 7 p.m. last night. When they arrived, smoke was visible from the front door. The fire was quickly contained to the oven. No one was injured. Fire officials say if there is a fire in your oven, keep the door closed and shut off the power immediately. Well, Canada's premiers are set to meet virtually with the Prime Minister later this week. Mark Carney will be hosting the First Minister's meeting on Thursday, and although it's said to be virtual, CTV News has confirmed that Ontario Premier Doug Ford will be there in person. There's no word yet on the focus of the meeting, but in the past, it has been to update the premiers on trade talks between Canada and the U.S. The last meeting was a month ago on November 17th. Skate Canada says it will no longer host national and international events in Alberta because of the province's gender law. The law, which came into effect in September, blocks transgender athletes from Alberta who are 12 and older from competing in female amateur sports. Skate Canada says the law means it can no longer maintain its national standards for safe and inclusive sport. Well, some immigration experts are warning Canadians to avoid traveling to the United States unless they have to, as data from U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement shows more Canadians are being detained due to changes to U.S. immigration policies. CTV's Heather Wright reports.
This is North America's busiest border crossing, the Ambassador Bridge, which connects Windsor and Detroit. It's where Greg Williams was detained by U.S. Border Patrol last month as he tried to enter the United States with his wife and dad.
And then it was turn the car off, hands on the dash, and within seconds there were 15 agents surrounding the car.
Williams says he was handcuffed and taken into a small room inside the nearby building. He was photographed and fingerprinted before ever knowing why he was being detained.
I wasn't worrying about being sent to some, Ecuadorian supermax, which is very much white privilege of me, that it's like I don't have to worry about those things, but that's also like nobody should.
Turns out there's another Greg Williams with some sort of a record that prompted the detention of this Greg Williams, an Ontario musician.
This happened because I have the same name, and that's crazy.
Williams was released after a couple of hours, but his story highlights the growing number of Canadians being caught up in the immigration crackdown underway south of the border. More than 200 Canadians have spent time in ICE custody at some point since January, compared with 137 detained in 2024. Records show at least 6 children were among those detained. While a handful of Canadians had felony convictions or other criminal records, the vast majority were picked up for visa violations or less serious infractions, which experts say marks a major shift in policy.
For the most part, from what I've seen, we're looking at very minor criminal infractions, but sufficient to attract the radar of U.S. enforcement.
Experts say in the past, Canadians would have been denied entry into the United States or sent back to Canada, but are being detained more frequently. Heather Wright, CTV News, Toronto.
Some children won't have a Christmas dinner, and this makes sure that everybody does.
Well, just ahead, a special Christmas meal delivery to students at an Ottawa elementary school. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Patricia. After an early start to the winter season and a stretch of biting cold temperatures, the region is set to experience a mid-December warm-up. Take a look at this, -2 for overnight. There is still a chance that we could see a risk of freezing rain. It's going to be quite windy into the overnight and tomorrow with gusts up to 60 kilometers per hour. Tomorrow's daytime high, 3 degrees. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where it's -3 out there right now. Parliament Hill dazzling with festive lights, part of the Winter Lights Across Canada program, just one of several ski spots around the capital region decorated for the holiday season.
Walmart Canada is so proud to support Troy Mountain. This is the season for giving, and every child deserves to have a great holiday. Bring a new unwrapped Troy or donate at troymountain.ca. Walmart and Troy Mountain, helping families this holiday season.
Today's Snow Report is brought to you by Camp Fortune. Let us teach you to love winter.
Well, they've been snowing for a bit at Camp Fortune, and here's how it looks. They got a good 60-centimeter base out there and a couple of lifts open, 3 runs available so far. As we check your conditions elsewhere, and we're going to see a lot of openings over the next couple of days. Edelweiss opens on December 17th. That would be tomorrow. We have a December 19th opening for Mont Cascade, December 20th at Calabogie Peaks, and Vorlage will also open on Friday.
Erin here from Camp Fortune with your insider tip. Weekday skiing is great skiing, and at only 15 minutes from downtown, we're even close enough for a long lunch. See you on the slopes.
Well, West Ottawa School was full of Christmas spirit today. Students and staff were treated to a traditional Christmas dinner thanks to a local entrepreneur, first responders, and volunteers. Here's CTV's Peter Sperling.
You think you're strong enough you could carry that for me?
Police vehicles filled with festive meals.
Not usually throw in a couple of bad guys or bad girls, but today we got Christmas lunches.
There we go.
Ottawa Police delivering nearly 300 Christmas dinners to students and staff at Dr. F.J. McDonald Catholic School in the Britannia Beach neighborhood.
Tastes really good.
Grade 6 student EJ enjoying the holiday feast.
Corn, turkey, and mashed potatoes.
The school celebrating Christmas early.
The people who gave us this was super kind.
Local entrepreneur Gregory Abouker serving up joy with help from family, volunteers, and donations.
When I started a few years back, it just ended up being a tradition that I carried on throughout the years. And I'm continuing to do it now because I just think it's the right thing to do. And, to see the smiles on the kids' faces, and the cheer that it brings them, I think it's all worth it.
Some children won't have a Christmas dinner, and this makes sure that everybody does.
Everyone at the school looking forward to this each year.
We have many families who are financially challenged, who have to struggle to make ends meet, and so we're happy to have things like this.
A break from the everyday for police officers, too.
Yeah, we're happy to switch things up and get some FaceTime with the kids, and it's Christmas time, so we're all happy.
It's not just about the food.
Hanging with my friends and having fun. I think it's wonderful that we're here today.
Smiles, joy, the true meaning of Christmas.
Thank you, and Merry Christmas!
Peter Sperling, CTV News.
Oh, it was a chilly start to the day, but things are warming up. Lots of snow and ice out there on the Mississippi River in Packenham under that beautiful 5-arch bridge. But some of that will likely melt tomorrow. Temperatures are expected to get above the freezing mark. As we take a full look at the conditions for the weather forecast, we haven't had anything positive in terms of a warming trend to talk about for a while, Jackie.
Yeah, I had to do a double take, Patricia, to see. I'm like, is that right? Are we going to be getting closer to 10 degrees by the end of this week? And the answer is yes. After what has been a frigid couple of weeks, we are warming up. So that's what we like to hear. -3 right now. Factor in that wind chill feeling closer to about -9. And we did see the daytime high of -3. And then into the overnight, you might notice that the wind is going to start to pick up coming from the southwest. And it's really going to pick up. You see a lot of that red closer to around Cornwall, even around by Kingston here as well. And it's going to pick up also by the time the midday Wednesday rolls around, specifically closer to the eastern edge of Ontario. So wind gusts up to 60 kilometers per hour. So keep an eye out on this, but the temperatures are going to start warming up as well, coming with those winds. 1 degree in Kingston for tonight's lows, -3 in Ottawa as well as Cornwall, -6 in Mont-Tremblant. And we are having mainly cloudy skies, and that will carry us into tomorrow. There's a slight chance that we could see some rain showers moving through, and that's going to be through the later part of the afternoon. But for the most part, temperatures are going to remain about 3-4 degrees, and it's going to be mainly cloudy skies really for most of eastern Ontario. This is the weather system that we are tracking that's moving through. When we look at our extended forecast, Thursday, mainly cloudy skies. For most of it, going to see a little sunshine, but then into the overnight Thursday into Friday, that's when we could anticipate more rainfall moving through. In some parts, the early forecast calling for up to 20 millimeters of rain. So that is for our Thursday into Friday. So right now we are in the clear. Across the region or across the country here, -4 in Halifax, -6 in Fredericton with some clear skies. The warmest parts of this country is really in Ontario. Windsor's already sitting at the freezing mark. Thunder Bay, a warm 5 degrees considering the temperatures they've had the last few days. The cold still hanging around by Saskatoon at -15 with some flurries moving through. And then we've got Calgary about 3 degrees and Vancouver sitting at 9 degrees. Now the 7-day forecast brought to you by Davidson Hearing Aid Centers, celebrating over 80 years in family business. It is going to be our windy Wednesday. with a slight chance that we could see some showers, but I'm liking the daytime high 4 degrees. Thursday, that's going to maintain as well. Daytime high 4 degrees, and then into Friday, that's going to maintain the overnight low. We haven't seen a positive overnight low in quite some time, Patricia. And then Friday, 7 degrees, but with it will come the chance of some rain showers between 15 to 20 millimeters or some flurries.
Maybe do a little of your Christmas shopping outside, you know, door to door on the street rather than hiding away in the mall. Because
do those walk-up shops?
Yeah,
that'll be
absolutely.
Nice.
All right, good stuff. Thank you, Jackie.
We actually felt like criminals at the border, as if we are coming here to actually commit a crime.
Well, coming up, Israel blocks a Canadian delegation, including several MPs, from entering the West Bank.
Tonight, a new travel warning.
Within seconds, there were 15 agents surrounding the car.
The rising detentions at the American border and what happened to a Canadian caught up in the immigration crackdown. Later on CTV National News, and watch live on Crave.
Plaster Orleans is proud to support Toy Mountain this year. Please donate a new unwrapped toy at any one of the locations across the city, including the one right here at Plaster Orleans. Plaster Orleans and Toy Mountain, helping families this holiday season.
A delegation of 30 Canadians, including 6 members of parliament, were barred by Israeli border authorities from entering the West Bank from Jordan today. The group says it had planned to meet with Palestinians in the occupied territory. CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver reports.
It was here at the Allenby crossing that the Canadian delegation waited for hours, only to be told by Israeli border agents they could not enter the occupied West Bank.
We actually felt like criminals at the border, as if we are coming here to actually commit a crime.
The delegation, organized by the nonprofit the Canadian Muslim Vote, intended to spend 3 days talking to refugees, aid groups, along with Muslim, Jewish and Christian individuals in the West Bank. Instead, 30 people, including 6 MPs, 1 NDP and 5 Liberals, were turned around, with 1 MP claiming she was pushed.
Frankly, I think it's insulting. I really do.
Liberal Faraz Al-Soud says he expected pushback, but never expected many in the group would be told to sign paperwork deeming them a risk to public safety and security.
They only gave us this very vague terminology of public security or public safety or public order considerations. And when we pried just a slight bit, they pushed back significantly, making it clear that they did not need to provide any reasoning.
The group has no intention on trying to cross again and says this rejection is part of a pattern by the Israeli government.
There's been a recent pattern of UN employees, of journalists, of humanitarians, and also parliamentarians from other countries, including the United Kingdom, that have been refused entry.
Israel's embassy to Canada says the delegation was denied entry because organizers have links to Islamic Relief Worldwide, which Israel considers a terror entity due to its alleged ties to Hamas, ties the aid group has denied. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
And tonight's big picture, a new subway stop at Rome's historic Colosseum has finally opened after long delays. And it's not just any transit stop. The museum-like station has 4 underground levels where riders and tourists can view archaeological treasures that were discovered during construction. Visitors will ascend through layers of the city's history, including ancient walls and wells, before catching a glimpse of the iconic Colosseum. Now, some other stories you need to know right now. The federal government's Buy Canadian policy is now in effect.
Canada needs to be its own best customer.
The strategy is meant to ensure Canadian products, materials, and workers are prioritized in federal procurement decisions. It applies to the government's new major projects in housing offices, defense procurement, and community infrastructure projects. The first stage of the policy requires contracts valued at $25 million or more prioritize Canadian businesses and materials. Well, new data finds younger music fans are turning to an old-school format. Vinyl record sales have risen around 18% year over year for the past 5 years. The survey finds nearly 60% of Gen Z music fans say They like the aesthetic of records, with 37% using them to decorate their living spaces. Taylor Swift has also provided a boost to vinyl sales, as 5 of her records were among America's top 10 best-selling vinyl albums last year. Well, Canada Post says kids who write to Santa with their wish list will get a response this year. All letters with the HOHOHO postal code that were mailed by December 8th will be delivered. The Crown Corporation says it can't confirm exact delivery dates, but Santa will respond to each letter. More than 1 million letters are delivered to and from the North Pole each year. Last Christmas, a strike by postal workers meant St. Nick could not respond, but he did read each letter.
Snappy pass finding Stutzla. He's in with Tkachuk. There's Tkachuk. He scores!
A huge comeback win for the Sens in Winnipeg last night. Before this victory, Ottawa had lost 4 of its last 5 games. Captain Brady Tkachuk scored the game winner in OT. Final score 3-2. The Sens play again on Thursday at home against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Ontario's Victoria Mboko has been named Newcomer of the Year by the Professional Women's Tennis Tour. The Canadian star raised her ranking from outside the top 300 to inside the top 20 after an impressive 2025 campaign. Highlights included winning the WTA 1000 National Bank Open in August and a WTA title in Hong Kong last month.
While our bookings in the United States are down, it doesn't mean that Canadians are traveling less. They're simply choosing different destinations.
Well, just ahead, the number of Canadians packing their bags for vacations is increasing, but people are avoiding travel to one notable spot. We'll share some of the top destinations they are choosing instead.
The most important part of any journey is to arrive safely. Hi, I'm Patricia Bowl.
And I'm Stefan Keys from CTV. Distracted or impaired driving can have devastating consequences.
Hey, it's Ashley.
And Gord from Ottawa's Pure Country 94.
Always plan for a designated driver, and please keep your phone down.
Everyone can help keep communities safe.
Drive safe. Brought to you by the Ottawa Safety Council. For more information on road safety programs and services, visit ottawasafetycouncil.ca.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Well, the Bell Media Building is lit up bigger and brighter this year thanks to our friends at Christmas Decor from Nutrilon. Well, earlier in the newscast, we shared a story about an expert warning Canadians not to travel to the U.S. with arrests and detentions at the border on the rise. But that's not the only factor keeping people from heading down south. Cross-border travel has plummeted since the trade war began, and it seems Canadians are choosing other vacation destinations. Here's CTV's Pat Foran.
When it comes to Canadians choosing to travel to U.S. destinations, Flight Centre says its bookings were down substantially in 2025, and it expects that to continue into next year.
We're down close to 40% year over year in travel into the U.S.
G Adventures, a company that specializes in small group adventure travel, has noticed the same trend.
While our bookings in the United States are down, it doesn't mean that Canadians are traveling less. They're simply choosing different destinations.
So where are Canadians going? According to Flight Centre, there has been a huge increase in interest to travel to Turks and Caicos, St. Lucia, Japan, Colombia, and Switzerland. Many people are looking for good value and are willing to travel further and stay longer.
We've seen an incredible increase to somewhere like Japan, where their dollar does stretch a bit further. Places like Australia, the Canadian dollar is stronger than the Australian dollar. So Canadians, once they get there, they feel that they can really stretch their dollar.
G Adventure says its top destinations for next year include Peru, Morocco, Costa Rica, Thailand, and Japan. It's also finding travelers want to vacation when it's less crowded.
People are trying to avoid the kind of over tourism. So they're choosing to travel during quieter times, so it's not quite as busy. And they also save some money doing that as well.
And more people are also choosing to go on trips by themselves.
We're really popular with solo travelers. Female solo travelers are our largest demographic.
Both companies say most travel spots are filled for the upcoming holiday period, but many people are booking fun in the sun trips for January, February, and March. Larger destination vacations are being booked now for next summer. Pat Foran, CTV News.
Well, the federal government has signed off on a major mining deal that will see a British firm acquire a Canadian one. BNN Bloomberg's Marilla Fernandez has more.
This is about a U.S. $20 billion all-stock deal between Anglo-American and Teck Resources. As part of it, Anglo-American has agreed to spend $4.5 billion in Canada over the next 5 years. It is also moving its global headquarters from London to Vancouver. Shareholders already approved the deal that creates a copper power producer. The new company will be called Anglo-Teck. Canada's industry minister says Anglo's commitments are legally binding. Here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar ended the day at 72.71. West Texas Intermediate crude lost over $1.50, ending the day at 55.27. Western Canadian Select is down as well, and the TSX dropped 219 points today to close at 31,263. Those are your business headlines. I'm Marilla Fernandez.
So this card specifically, like of Ango Pikachu last year, would have been like $100, and now it's selling for $800-900.
Well, just ahead, thieves are breaking into stores across the Greater Toronto area, but they're not stealing jewelry or cash. They're targeting rare trading cards. We'll have the details after the break.
The magic of the holidays is here, and this year the need is greater than ever.
Let's ensure every child in our community feels the joy with CTV and Move 100's Toy Mountain.
Together with the Salvation Army, we can help spread cheer and make a child's wish come true.
Drop off any new unwrapped toy to the designated drop-off locations or make a monetary donation online.
For all the details, visit toymountain.ca, presented by Donnelly Automotive Group.
Last month, 2 people were charged after a brawl broke out at the Costco in Barrhaven. Police say the men were fighting over Pokémon cards, a high-demand item. Some worth thousands of dollars. Now, store owners in the Greater Toronto area say thieves are targeting the trading cards. Here's CTV's Beth McDonnell.
So this card specifically, like of Ango Pikachu last year, would have been like $100, and now it's selling for $800-900.
Pokemon and Magic the Gathering trading cards are popular and can be pricey. So much so, thieves are going after them across the GTA.
Almost all the break-ins happen in the middle of the night when no one's here. So, thankfully no one's hurt. None of our staff are around, but it happens, quite often.
The cards are used for playing games and are collectibles. Dolly's Toys and Games deals with some cards valued over 6 figures.
If your card goes for $200K, it could go for $300 tomorrow, as long as someone's willing to pay that amount of money for it.
All of our stores have a hospital. They're 1,500-pound mag locks.
Experiencing violence and theft, Minting sports card owner John Amendola has become a self-described security expert to keep card thieves away. He has protection on the doors and windows, vaults, a sophisticated entry system, and plenty of cameras.
5 attempted break-ins, 3 break-ins at multiple locations. We've had an armed robbery, and we had a couple of instances of mail fraud to the tune of, $100,000+.
Still, York Regional Police tell CTV News they're not observing a noticeable increase in trading cards being specifically targeted in thefts. But Amendola says there could be a reason for that.
I think they just don't want to bring more light to it. There's children are involved, families. I can tell you there is an issue. It happens all the time, and they are aware. And Peel, York, and Toronto, they've all done a great job.
In October 2024, a York investigation recovered Pokémon and Magic the Gathering cards worth around $100,000.
Officers say fortunately this year there hasn't been another incident like it, although they have seen shoplifting and sometimes trading cards are stolen in residential break-ins. In Peel, police say data is categorized too broadly to isolate incidents around trading cards. In Toronto, police told us they don't see a consistent crime trend of Pokémon card thefts. Store owners point out there are some mechanisms within the industry stopping thieves.
You know, if there's 15 dealers in Ontario, there's only so many people you can steal your goods to. Secondly, mostly everything is tagged, serialized, all the grading are encapsulated, and a lot of the manufacturers are now issuing barcodes that are specific to the store.
We still recover a lot of stolen items just because it's as easy as they are to move. Sometimes it's really tough to get away with like very expensive cards without raising red flags. Yeah, we have cameras all over.
But despite all upgrades, efforts, and being extra careful,
it doesn't seem to deter all the thieves.
And some keep trying to steal the cards. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Well, coming up, Ontario reveals the most popular baby names in the province. We'll take a look at the list just ahead. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Patricia. We are expecting the next couple of days to be quite mild, and we are sitting above seasonal conditions. 4 degrees for our Wednesday, but with it will come the chance of some rain showers and heavy winds. Thursday, our most ideal day, where we'll see a mix of sun and cloud. Daytime high 4 degrees, and yeah, while Friday is going to be 7 degrees, we're anticipating some strong weather system moving through. It will bring with it lots of rain. Those details after the break. But here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where it's -3 out right now. It's a nice night to take a stroll along Spark Street, one of the key spots for winter lights across Canada.
The National Capital Region is jam-packed with incredible experiences you don't want to miss. Hey, I'm Tanea Taylor, your iHeartRadio Weekender, powered by Barrhaven Ford. Get the inside scoop on all the biggest and best events every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday on CTV, Move 100, Pure Country 94, TSN 1200, and News Talk 580 CFRA. iHeartRadio Weekenders is powered by Barrhaven Ford, Ottawa's newest and largest Ford dealership, and Ontario's #1 Ford EV dealer.
Tomorrow on CTV Your Morning Ottawa, the holidays are a time for a gathering over some great food, but we want to make sure your Christmas dinner is safe this season, so we page Dr. Paul. Wake up the right way with Your Morning Ottawa starting at 6.
Hairstyles, courtesy of Salon Fiorella.
Here's a recap of the top stories we are following right now.
Things that, public service needs to be more productive is looking at some of these ancient IT systems that we deal with.
A new report calls for the government to monitor public servants' productivity, but the Treasury Board says it does not plan on doing that for now.
The number of impaired drivers has increased steadily over the last 3 to 5 years.
An 18-year-old is dead and a 17-year-old driver is facing impaired charges after a rollover crash near Packenham.
It's been amazing.
It's been overwhelming, actually. It really has.
And an Ottawa Valley teen in need of a new kidney, now looking for a living donor. We want to get a final look at this forecast, which is pretty good over the next couple of days, except for the canal.
Yes, well, I was looking at doing a double take because the wake-up weather, we're not going to even be in the minus section. We are starting off at freezing. Overcast, very windy, though, with gusts up to 40 kilometers per hour, so you definitely still want to bundle up. But the good news is a daytime high of 4 degrees. There is a slight chance we could see some showers moving through the region, and that's likely in the late to early evening as well, or early afternoon for tomorrow. And then Thursday, daytime high 4 degrees with a mix of sun and cloud. And then Friday, it's going to be a wet one. We could see early forecast showing 15 to 20 millimeters of rain moving through. So we're keeping a close eye on this, and we'll keep you locked in.
All right, good stuff. I have a daughter arriving from up north who's going to appreciate those really mild temperatures, so that'll be great. Austin is on the news desk for us for the 11:30. I want to check in and see what our team is working on, Austin.
Yeah, thanks, Patricia. For anyone who makes regular trips out to Montreal, you're probably familiar with a pretty dangerous stretch of road. Some are calling it the Highway of Death, and that's because there have been so many fatal collisions along that stretch. It's Highway 50 in the Laurentians, and just last week, another man was killed in a crash. There is some work that's underway to improve safety, but some say that work is not happening fast enough. Of course, you can get the news anytime, anywhere at ctvnewsottawa.ca, and join me tonight for CTV News at 11:30.
All right, will do. Thank you very much. And finally for us tonight, Ontario has unveiled its annual list of the most popular baby names in the province. Austin, Patricia, and Jackie. I think that's obvious, right? Or is it? Some familiar names claiming the top spots. As we take a look at the most popular girl names in 2024, Olivia again, the 16th year in a row. Imagine that. Charlotte and Sophia round out the top 3, followed by Amelia, Emma, Ava, Maya, Sophia with an F, Mia, and Isla. Isla? Can be said both ways, I think, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
What would your votes be?
Isla.
I was going to go with Isla, but okay.
Oh, we are split.
And for boys, Noah was the most popular name for the 6th consecutive year. Liam was second, followed by Theodore, Oliver, Jack. So Jackie's almost in there. We'll count
Devin
that.
Dyson's child.
Yeah, great name. Henry, Benjamin, Lucas, Muhammad, and Leo were also in the top 10. Some great names, but there has not been a lot of changeover in those names in recent years.
No, bring back Ebenezer. Whatever happened to Ebenezer?
Yeah.
I think you're the one going for that
I think
one.
Scrooge might have spoiled that for a lot of people.
Oh, fair enough. Yeah, a couple
But, you know, if you have a Christmas baby and you don't want him to be a big spender.
Yeah, it's a smart plan.
Oh,
it's
man.
a good strategy.